All right. Hello, hello, hello. Maybe you guys can hear me okay. Of course, it's one of those mornings where it's like, oh, let's update. I'm like, all right, I guess that's update. It's like, all right, just do it. Update. Roll the dice. All right. So, yeah, some interesting data points this morning. All good. Thank you. Debbie, welcome back from your trip. Thank you for the thank you for the informational picture of gas prices. I'm looking at that. I'm like, oh God. Like, I can't even imagine. Told Melissa, I was like, yeah, it's like over double our prices. Like, I feel like I would not drive. Yeah. Actually, ours is, you know what? We had the forecast for rain, but right now it's just cloudy. But it's cold. It's like 40 degrees. It is cold. What is Kip doing here? Hold on. I have Kip with me today, so I'm just trying to get it all set up here. Yeah, eyes much better today. Like I said, I don't know. It's happened a few times where like we've had like super wind, and like the next day it's like my eyes just hurt, and then like it's almost like my vision is like fuzzy, right? I don't know if it's like the sweat in my eyes or just the dirt. I don't know what it is, but like it was like we lost one of the tents yesterday, or on Sunday. We had one of the pop-up tents, actually like a commercial, like thick one. It took flight like a kite and completely sheared off one of the legs. It's like twisted, mangled. It's like horrible. It's like, wow. It's like, whoops, wasn't even my tent. So, whoops. Yeah, the commission I borrowed from, I was like, my bad. I'm like, can we get a replacement leg? So hopefully we can. But yeah. So, yeah, fun and excitement as far as that goes. But much better today. Like I said, not a job person, but again, they work if you use them, right? I guess that's like everything, right? Right. Doctor gives you medicine. If you take it, it works. If you don't take it, it tends not to work that well, right? So, anyway, feeling better. So we have some decent movement right now in the last 24 hours. It is all based off of dollar weakness. Some interesting interviews yesterday that I heard. A couple different people. Again, obviously the FTX stuff is out there. People are talking about that. What's going on with crypto? What I think was interesting was that it was pretty much a unified front that, the Fed's not done. The market is assuming that. We're starting to see it now in companies, right? Amazon started laying off 10,000 people. Disney is now putting a hold / I think Disney's laying people off as well. We're starting to see some of the big companies out there start to get to the stage where we are laying off. Now, the data we had today, the PPI number did come in actually at 0.2, which you may look at that and be like, look, it's working. It is, but one of the biggest problems that we have right now is, yes, there's no debate. Everything is higher price right now. We know that even if you say that, hey, listen, that was great data. It's only 7.2. No. It's 7.2 on a rolling. It's not 7.2 from where it started. With that kind of increase right there, the big question now is what will happen? Will we have entrenched inflation? Okay, we heard the EU talk about that as well, talking about how that's kind of like their major risk is the entrenchment of inflation. And I think that's a valid point. Gas prices are obviously higher right now. And the higher they stay here, the more accustomed we get to that price. Meat prices, food prices, car prices, electronics, everything. Once those prices kind of set in and they become, quote, entrenched, that's where we get some major problems because that's where society, life has basically changed. You're like, yeah, it was a couple of bad years, but we're back at 2%. It's like, yeah, but we're well above where we should be. All right. So that's where I think it matters. We did have comments just a little while ago. You'll see Cook right here. Just a little while ago talked about this one. Inflation is much too high. The focus for Fed is on addressing inflation. Now, again, that's not anything that's new. We've been talking about that for, 2 years now. We know that that's the problem. But we're still hearing the same things. We have yet to hear the Fed talking about, hey, this is great. Yesterday, one of the people did say that, hey, listen, they believe that December will be a 5. And the reason why is not because the mandate has now been satisfied, but that 0.75 is kind of a big jump, right? And I have to agree, it is. It's more than, again, all the other nations out there were doing 0.5s, 0.25s, and then we came in with the 0.75s. And 0.75 is quite a large jump from where we are, right? So Again, I mentioned this the other day. I said, I wouldn't be surprised if we did a 0.75 and then we had a halt of some sort. But at the same time, if we don't do the 0.75 halt, I could see there being a zero point 0.5, right? Because they said not only are they going to take us to neutral and we're not quite at neutral yet, they were going to go beyond neutral, right? Again, to make sure that this is completely curbed. So, again, is it more likely that it's 0.5, 0.5? Will the market take 0.5 as being like, oh my God, like a big thing? Or is the market completely pricing this in already? I mean, we've shown so much weakness. Question is it now completely priced in? And if we get that, are we going to see the opposite of what we have seen lately, right? With where the data is actually the increase, but then we see the weakness, the counter trend of that already. So that's kind of where I'm kind of looking at it. Harker also said some of the same things, right? It's there. We know that it's there. There's no question that it's there. Now, the UK, I want to bring that up as well because they started the morning off here. The UK data was actually pretty good. Average earnings on a 3-month over year basis were up. Actually, a double. They were up to 6.1 and then 6 again. The claimant count also super, super low, right? Everything looked good there. The German economic sentiment, that one did not look great, right? Coming in at that 3.6, yeah, not really what you're looking for. So yeah, it's I think the EU is finally going to start getting caught up with what everybody else has going on. So I think they have some problems there. Empire State Manufacturing actually was not a negative number as well. That's good overall too, because we like to see the manufacturing numbers higher. Now, one thing I do want to bring up. Am I going to be able to find it now? Where is it? I didn't think it was that bad. Where the heck is it? Basically, Biden talking about how we're going forward with inflation, and there's rumblings like, listen, you're going forth with, you're going to help increase the inflation by, the additional infrastructure spending. Why? You want help? Okay. Infrastructure spending is one of those things that overall, you think infrastructure spending is great. The problem with infrastructure spending is it's not done on a small spectrum. Well, I don't know what you want. This? Infrastructure spending are large ticket price items. This? Okay. Whenever anybody knows that there's a large ticket item being bought, it tends to kind of skew the data, right? Because there's a big check coming and, big checks don't care. And that's kind of the attitude they have with it. So, could it drive up inflation a little bit more? It depends on the industry. It could, right? I think at this point it more has to do with the Chinese relations. Now, that was also something on the hot topic that Biden had his first meeting and things like that with China's president, or I guess their prime minister. And I don't know, to me, we have a long-standing relationship together. We're going to work vigorously to compete. It's like, okay, if we compete on the same stance that we're competing right now, we're losing. Okay. But at the same time, again, don't go into Taiwan, et cetera, South Korea, like I said, I think that's the next major, going to be the next major problem. And again, China's already told us what their intentions are on an international level. Again, it's not a recognized territory. I think that's going to be the next big kind of stone to tumble. There's also rumblings. Again, one of the other things going to get you caught up this weekend. The administration and the policy guys are all about driving the war in the Ukraine until the very, very end, until they've conquered Russia. The military, not so much. The military says, hey, listen, anytime that you can, have talks about peace and negotiation, you should absolutely take advantage of it. And again, it's not the bloodthirsty military at this point. Now it's the bloodthirsty politicians are driving the narrative on that one. So I thought that was interesting that, such a high-ranking force in the military was saying, listen, war is ugly. Nobody wins with war. If there's an opportunity for negotiation, it should always, there always should be that dialogue out there. We're supporting the Ukraine, but if there's a path through negotiation, it should be done. One of the comments inside of the article and kind of the speech as well was talking about the amount of stockpiles that we have given to the Ukraine already, that it is dwindling our own stockpiles. And now we are looking for generators and all this other kinds of stuff. We're like scouring the globe for it, right? So Question is the level of support we have sustainable? And what will, at what point will the military say no? So lot of kind of news out there. Now, tonight we do have some good data as well. We have this price wage index quarter over quarter basis. What do you want? What happened? What? What happened? Sorry, guys, I don't know. Here's Peppa. Here's Peppa. Here's Peppa. Here's Peppa. The average the wage price index on a quarterly basis is kind of similar to what our average earning rate is. That's a positive. That's good. When we see this, we see Aussie strength coming into the market, and again, that's what we're kind of looking for, right? Oh, here you go. Harker repeats he sees rate hike pace slowing in coming months, which is, I think, what we expected. Going to hold at some point. Oh, here you go. So slowing, not stopping. So Harker sees Fed going on hold at some point next year, meaning, again, not the 0.75, but the 0.5, the 0.5, right? Maybe even it's 0.25, 0.25, 0.25, and then we hold. So again, kind of goes what we talked about. It'll take time for inflation to decline. Not overly concerned about inflation expectations. We are back on track. The balance sheet people put back on a burner. From the balance sheet. Okay. This person's like, even the fourth one was redundant. So we'll see. As I said, I'm kind of in the pool right now. I like the 0.5. Right, I kind of like the 0.5. If we do 0.5, 0.5, I like that better than a 0.5 or a 0.75 and a hold. I think that makes the most sense to start slowing it, but not, but kind of not go all the way. So that's kind of today in a nutshell. Now tomorrow, it's kind of a lot out here tomorrow. So we have CAD data, we have the pound CPI data, and again, we've had great data today, but on a yearly basis, again, 10.7. It's like, holy crap, we're like right on the door, knocking on 11%. That's huge, right? Already in their longest recession. Inflation is still continuing to rise after they've raised. Yeah. So I think, I think that's a big one for tomorrow morning. If you want to place an overnight trade in that one, I think there's going to be absolutely some opportunity in it. As far as CAD goes, CPI on a monthly basis, again, how about that for CAD? Last time it was a 0.1 increase on a monthly basis. A 0.8 CPI increase is huge. That's a big one. Right, that's a big one. Right now, the dollar CAD is up about 28. Everywhere else across the board, you were seeing dollar weakness. Wow, except the dollar CAD. So some of that has to do with oil. Obviously, oil is declining a bit. Oil, we're back down. That's going to be a big one at 8:30 tomorrow morning. And we also have retail sales for the United States. Retail sales on a monthly basis. So everything we've seen thus far has been, oh, listen, the Fed needs to slow down. Again, we know that spending is getting lower. We know the companies are laying people off, but thus far, all through the inflation, the consumer has been the one that is, again, the consumer has been keeping this rally going, right? The reason why is because, again, we spend money, earnings are good, everything else looks great, right? So right now, it's expected to be a 1% increase. So all the data we saw, like today's data, right? Today's data, the Fed's holding off, right? This comes in. Whoops. This comes in big tomorrow. That's every reason not to hold off. Look, it's not affecting the economy, guys. We know inflation is way too high. Retail sales number comes in, mean people are still spending money. They have extra disposable income. Keep your foot on the pedal, right? That's what they're thinking. So tomorrow morning, very important news as well. So between CAD and the dollar retail sales numbers and core retail sales numbers, it's a big morning tomorrow, and then obviously the monetary policy hearing is at 9:15, and then we'll be on right after that. And we will get more G20, kind of stuff tomorrow too. So next 24 hours, we've got a lot of info out there. A lot of trading potential, and again, with where the moves are happening right now, I think there's some decent things we can take advantage of. So let's go across and let's look at the VIX. So right now, we did take that big gap down last week, and this was kind of I don't want to say expected, but we kind of we knew that this was kind of sitting there, right? It dropped, and now we've really just been maintaining sideways, going at this 2362 level. Again, I wouldn't say, right now there's nothing major that we need to it is, the reading for tomorrow for retail sales is obviously a big deal. It should spike the volatility just a little bit, but nothing to where, it needs to be necessarily a major concern of ours. So we're good there. The dollar. Okay. So we got the push down on the dollar, and that's where we ended on Friday. We're still kind of in the same range. We kind of gapped up a little bit and kind of pushed a little, and then we took a drop, early morning today. We pushed down, and the data today dropped it down and immediately retraced back up again. So we're kind of in the same wheelhouse as where we were on Friday. The comments out there is like, hey, we're pausing, we're doing this, we're doing that. But right now, that retail sales data is going to really kind of just, again, I think it's going to dictate what happens next. I think if we come in at 1%, I think that's all the Fed needs to say and say, hey, listen, our biggest concern is crashing the economy. And if people are spending, we're good. So right now, again, I think the dollar is something to watch. Is it anything tradable right now? I mean, we have an area of sellers here at 106, but beyond that, we got about 75 cents to rise up to this 107, this plateau up here. I think this is really where we start to see currency trades start to flip, okay? Commodities, you can see again, right now, all in the red, right? All in the red. And again, I don't mind all the commodities in the red, but it's odd because we have dollar weakness. Actually, I guess the dollar is popping back up again, but you see like silver down 2% already today, right? And then again, something like crude oil down 1%, hover around that 85 mark. So, it's there. It's there. The other thing too, I want to bring up as well. Let me bring it up. This is also important to mention. Okay, so right now, and again, this is just the Associated Press. You can see the Senate. Everybody was, celebrating last week, right? Everybody was celebrating that, the Democrats have saved the House or saved the Senate. I don't know. This is saying 49 to this 40, 48. Two other parties have seats. Yeah, they could lean this way, but they don't have to vote that way. Looks like Alaska's still out there, right? Alaska's still out there. Alaska's not counted here. That gives them 50. And then what happens if by chance they do win Georgia? Again, it's so close. It's a runoff election, right? If they do win Georgia, wouldn't that give them the 51, right? This would be number 50 because that's not in here yet. And then that would be 51. That would give them the majority, right? So, I don't know. I was kind of confused and I was like, is this one wrong? Like, this one has not been counted yet. This one is not here yet. I'm like, huh. So there's that. And then there's this. Okay, the GOP is one seat away. And again, red here. There's a whole bunch of little kind of small ones over here. And I think there's one somewhere else in here. There's still a bunch out there that obviously they're leading like 52%, right? 64, 54. A lot of these out here, they need one more, right? They need one more for the majority. I think right now, once that takes off, I think this could be a big boom for the market as well. So again, I don't know when the exact time that this will finally be counted or how long it's going to take or what the prediction of it is. But when this does come in, there's going to be a big trading opportunity out of it. And I would say the way that it's looking right now will probably be more of a kind of like the plus side based trade, right? So there's that also. That's another thing we got to watch out for. All right. So with that said, let's go down and go to Aussie. So again, we skipped yesterday. We talked about on Friday. Again, here's that Friday morning push to the downside. We talked about this candle right here was where Sunday was, right? So as you can see, we kind of opened low. We came back up and touched it. Again, you guys know this pattern, right? This is kind of from the basing. I don't know why we had that there still. Here's your Sunday. Here's Sunday at 10 o'clock at night. There's your basing level. And your 1 to 3 is right there. Okay? Little 10 for 30 in the overnight. And if you didn't catch it here at, I guess what? Actually 8 o'clock. That was 8 o'clock Eastern time. If you didn't catch it there, you caught it here. And this was at 3 o'clock in the morning. And this is the European session. Let's move this out of the way. This is your European session open. So again, you guys should have known that opening print. There you go. There's another opportunity. So whether you caught the first attempt at it, right, on Sunday night, or if you caught the European Open, either way, there's two different trades in here. Maybe you caught both. Maybe you pulled in 60 pips yesterday just from the single trade, but both of them were good. And then again, basing, whoops, base, and now we're sitting there right now. So the other level up top ended up getting sliced through and then became a bottom for a bit, right? Boom, boom, and then again, kind of went across. So we don't need that level. So I would say, the way this is looking right now with what the dollar is, again, two decent trades in. The problem is we got a bunch of buying in here. So let's remove this so we can get a cleaner look. Looking to the left, right? I'm looking to the left for something clean. And you can see some basing in here, and there's kind of a touch. And I'd say that's probably close to an area. But then here we have 1, 2, 3, and 4 here. So that's not even really super clean. This one, we kind of need just to get anything we can as far as, kind of decent. Like, is there going to be a level in there that works? That 23.6 is in a weird place. Here's that level right there, right? And that's kind of backstop. But look at this. You got an area right below it as well. I almost... I don't mind this one. I think this one's decent. I like that. Let's put that something on there. Okay. To me, this is a news level. And again, we have this right here, unemployment rate. The forecast is it's going up. If it doesn't go up, that should be a positive, right? So that should be a positive. So there could be a nice little news trade setup sitting right here, right there. Okay, right there. Right now, I like this more negative. Again, there is a zone. We may actually take a bounce off of that one. Again, this level is done at this point. We may actually take a bounce off of this. Again, it was a decent base. It was touched again, and then kind of got front run and then took off. Again, that is a European session open, so you do have more volume coming in there. I know why this is turning. I know why it's turning right now, but I'd really like to see this deteriorate down. I'd like to see this dollar strength come back in. I'd like to get us down here. I'd really like to bring it right down to here for this level and then look for a pop. I think ideally, that's what we're looking for. Ideally. But right now, again, we're not in a range where there's a trade. There's a small area here. We may be able to take one more bounce off of it. It's a rather small area. If you're looking for something to kind of reverse on it, it's only 14 pips. It's not very big. So there's probably something in that one if you guys want it. But again, the Sunday night trades are, those are obviously done. All right, so here we go. So kind of the same thing. Your Sunday move was right here. Friday to Sunday, it kind of came down and grabbed this same level yet again, and then kind of took off. So we're kind of more in a range here. So let's take this one. There's a new trend there. So let's do it from here down and see what we have. Yeah, you can see that the same sellers that were here stepped in at the 61.8. Again, touched it again. I'm actually going to mark that level off. I think that's a decent level that we could use later. It has obviously been there already. But the fact that, again, it's now pushing off, people will look at that level and it kind of gives us a confirmation of an area where we can go to. Downside, we did slice through this. And again, it did kind of take off on Sunday night. Let's remove these now. Still that same level. I wish we had a better level. Let me see. Don't really have one. I'm not in love with this level, but I'm going to mark it as far as like the best bottom we can get. I'm going to say right now, these are kind of the two areas that I'm looking at. I'm going to change this one to yellow, right? 92.80, and then obviously up top at 94.22. I think right now those are both going to act as somewhat more of a bracket. For potentials to, basically be reversal points. Now, again, we know we have the data coming in. It's sitting right over here, right? It's sitting right there. And again, we have another day to get there. But right now, there's really, look how much time it's spent there. Is that an explosive move? Not really, right? Top side, we've hit it a few, but we got a bit more room to run. Like, we need to move about 75 pips up. Is there anything currently right now driving that one? Not really. News-wise, I would say that there's nothing major there that we, that we're looking at, right? So, yeah. Yeah. Look for those two. And again, depending on what we have, there's some U.S. data in there that could move that around because of the yen. We are 75 and 92. So, need a little bit of help. Aussie dollar. I'm sorry, euro dollar. So euro dollar. Where are we at here? Sunday into Friday. Friday to Sunday right here. So basically this one, we talked about this. This was a potential top in the market. We knew that 103 was going to be a big deal. As you can see from Friday, we had this big kind of peak. We dropped down and then we really kind of hovered back and forth. So this, what is it? 103.25, right? Pop, down, up, back down, and up. So I think that's a level that we look for price to come back down to. It's sitting right here. And again, 103.10, we talked about 103 flat. I think that's where we really need to look for it to go back to. Now, this is, and again, you can kind of, it's not the cleanest of Harry Potters, but it is obviously a big run up in price. We're kind of sitting there like this right now, right? It is about 60 pips to the downside. So I'd like to see where the base forms here. I think we can kind of get a kind of artificial / new Harry Potter. If we can come down and then start the base in here and go sideways, if this is where the zone is, we come up and then we look for this one to push back to the downside. Profit-wise, I would look for this one to come off here. You can see that this move here is about 50 pips. It helps when I put a straight line in there. That risk level right now, based off of that candle, is only about 13. So there's plenty of room here for a trade. I don't know, like I said, I don't know where the base is going to be, but I'm looking at something along these lines. A 1 to 3 is sitting right there. I'd like to see where this true base is and then where the pullback comes in at, right? This is a later today base trade. I do think it, again, I think it does roll in after the European session is open when it's just the U.S. market. As far as where the, like I said, where the base and the trigger comes in at, it could even potentially be like an end of day base trade. It could be like a 4 or 5 o'clock trade, something in the overnight. Yeah, this could even be in the overnight because, like I said, unless there's a major headline. Yeah. And when I say major headline, this is kind of the headline that I'm talking about. Headlines like this. Yeah, I like this one. I don't have a level for it yet. Maybe this is the confirmation that it's broken, and now we wait for the base. But yeah, I absolutely think this one comes down and touches back down. I'd say overall, again, make sure you get your profit out at 103.38. Actually, let's get this dead on. Missed the buy. Not even a pip. Oops. There we go. So 103.30. I'll just make it the 34. There we go. 103.4. Okay. 103.40. So yeah, I see this one rolling back. I don't know what the headline's going to be, but I think there will be a headline on this. That will help drive it back down. Again, it's also similar like the Aussie dollar. We talked about the dollar reinflating and coming back to the downside. I think it's all the same base trade here. Yeah, I think it's all the same thing. Euro pound. All right, so a lot of European weakness, but the reality is this is not really European weakness. This is the good data that came out today for obviously the claim account and everything like this. This is all the pound data. Now, I would expect there's a little bit of a retracement here. We have a level down south at 86.98. It's come off there before. It has hit it 2 times before. It's been a pretty decent level. We may get one more bounce off of it. I'm cool if we do. Actually, I'd like it if we do because then that really makes this area down here a little bit better. Remember, we do still have a Harry Potter based trade. We want a more near-term setup on this one, but there is an alert sitting down here as it is. And the alert looks something like this, right? This is a break of... Oops. Cancel. Let's put it this way. There you go. 86.91. Or 86.90. Right. It's a break of 86.90. Wait for a pullback. We know that we have a Harry Potter that comes down and the profit target down here at 86.57. So definitely some room to run on this one. Again, if we don't reverse. This is a lot of data, but again, if we get that big headline that we're talking about in the euro dollar, that should help break through this level. And again, it's already got 2 touches on it. So I'd love for it to bounce one more time and then we kind of punch through. And that could look like this right here. Right? It goes up to 10.7. It's kind of big. What if it's like 10.9? Can you imagine? Or like 11? Could you imagine? Absolutely, that's a slice target too. So, but yeah, I like this one to come down. And again, remember, overall, get yourself out right over here. 86.50, 57. 86.57. All right. Euro yen. All right, so euro yen. Last week we drew this one off. This one was at basically the reversal time for the European market. We knew that the 50 was going to have some problems, and it did. Right, it hit it here Monday morning. It kind of pulled back and then peaked above and went down, and we're still fluctuating in that same level. I would say that this one also probably has a similar push back down to probably back down to the same level. I wouldn't take a long off this one, but it's definitely an area where there's going to be a target. It's 109 pips down, so there's plenty of room for it. Let's actually adjust this to there a little bit. Ideally on this one, this is what I'd like to see. I would like to see this because a 1 to 3 is right there. That's what your 1 to 3 looks like. So kind of the same thinking, a little bit more deterioration. Yeah, I mean, it's got a little bit more to go, right? It's got about 60 pips to move on this one. So this is, again, it's probably a later today / European session trade for tomorrow, right? We'll get some help from the yen, but besides that, that's what we're looking for. That's going to be set as a target to the downside. Yeah. All right, so here's where we're sitting on this one. Again, this one is... We can delete this old level here. This one is still holding firm, right? It has not come down and triggered yet. Again, will it? Yeah, eventually. I don't know when, right? Eventually. If we talk about Sunday night, Friday, we popped up. Sunday, we kind of came back down. Actually, Monday at 10:30, right? We had a 10:30 reversal that came back down and grabbed this 170 level. Not surprising, and you can see it in the basing in there, but it did touch the actual purple level there, so we know that that's a decent level. Let's track this higher right now. Oh, let's get this. No. There we go. All right, so there is a little bit of a level right now here. Let's see. There is a level here. It is a 23.6. It is 90 pips away. 90 pips away. So could there be a news-based trade right there coming off of the year-over-year inflation data? Yeah, I would say so, right? It's expected to go higher. Again, we come in at 11%. That would be considered pound strength, like for the UK, raising the interest rates even more. That would lead us to the upward direction here, the bullish direction. Again, we get a pullback now because, again, we're seeing the dollar strength roll back in. That would set that one up in a pretty nice news-based trade. So that looks something along these lines here, and 1 to 3 is sitting right there, right? So not a horrible position, and it just happens to also be a 23.6 pullback. So all the algorithms out there not even understanding that, hey, listen, there's news as well. This kind of helps us out, right? It's got to move. Like I said, it's got 90 pips to move, so it's not like instantaneous. Like, yep, this is going today. It's got to move a bit. So can it do that much movement from now till morning time? Sure, absolutely. Right? We got plenty of time for that one. So I think that's good. Where'd it go? Hold on. Oh, it's already running. Where is it? There it is. Yeah, but I don't think they. Yeah, Ernest, you're right. Sorry, the chat went weird on me. I don't know. Yeah, but I don't think they're counting that one, Jeff. Are they? Even though it's Republican versus Biden, are they officially counting because it's a light pink, right? I don't know. I thought that too originally, but I don't know. It doesn't seem like they're counting it. I don't know. Maybe just going back to that one, right? I mean, they said they secured it, but I don't know. I mean, I guess I thought there was. I mean, there is a Democratic candidate, right? So it's not like there isn't. It's just the 2 Republicans are leading, but that would mean it's locked in, right? Yeah. that could be too. Maybe, I don't know. Like I said, they were saying like it's locked in. Maybe because here, I don't know. They said that they retained it. I mean, obviously it hasn't switched officially, right? If everything ended the way that it did now, I guess I don't know. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe they're counting it. Maybe it is still the 50. But at the same time, it says the other party, other parties have 2 seats, right? They're sitting on this side saying they control it, but at the same time, I don't know. Do you know which? I don't know what other parties it is, but I think it's important. I don't know. My thing is, we talked about it before. It doesn't matter if they win this one or not. It was the House. If the GOP takes a House, that's all that they need. They don't have to have both. Both would be nice, but it doesn't really make any difference in the world, right? If they have the House, they can block. They can, put legislation forward. Republicans can actually, have somewhat of a voice and can't be bullied. So it doesn't matter. Those two independents. Caucus, but again, yeah, I think they're but I don't know. Do they? I don't know. Independents tend that they can vote with party line, not on party lines as well, right? But yeah, I saw something about that. But yeah, they're on that side, and I think they are. I don't remember. I forget who it is. Like, I wish it would show me who it was, but I don't remember. Right. So I don't know. Like I said, this is governor. It's funny they have governor up here too. I love this. So they lost 2 seats. Well, they lost Hogan, but Hogan, the fact that Hogan held it in the first place was amazing. So that pissed all the Democrats off. So yeah, whatever. Anyway. Yeah, look for this one to come back. I like this one, 1835. I think that's a good area. Pound yen. So pound yen also pushing high. Now, pound yen is at a very interesting spot. You can see it right here. Again, I'm just drawing a level. I'm not saying where this is. It is kind of an old level in the past. We are smacking up into the 50% retracement level right now. Now, we did have great pound data today. Could it be considered somewhat of a parabolic move? Sure. There will be some profit taking right now. We're really going to need some help from the yen to kind of turn and roll back to the downside. So I think there is some pressure in this one, and all the yen pairs kind of look somewhat similar with, an area where you're like, wow, is that going to turn? Is this it? Answer is, yeah. I mean, I'd say that it's in a level where, you got to be looking at profit taking. Is this going to unseat the pound? I think the narrative is there. I think the narrative makes sense. We just talked about, the pound kind of calming down a little bit versus the dollar as dollar strength rolls back in. Will we see that here as well? I think so. I mean, the dollar yen is even down right now. It's red. So I like this one pulling back. And the question is, can we pull back to a level for news, right? News is here, right? News is sitting right here. Okay. It's the same thing, that 10.1. The reality of this one is there's not a whole lot until we get down. Really, I guess it's really down here. Right. Jeff, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. Yeah, it's not wrong. Yeah. I don't know. I think it's too far. It can move 126 from now till then, but we're gonna need some help. I think keep this one on your radar. Again, because we have this spike down here, there's not much we can do with it. I think 64.60, 64.60. See, now you want Jeff. Now I'm like, who are the two that are considered the independents? Which two is it? It's not Sanders. Is not. He's still listed as Dem, isn't he? I don't think he's listed on there as one of the independents. And if so, who's the other one? Be very curious to see who the other one is. Sanders. I don't remember the other one. Yeah, because here's the thing about those guys, right? Is it? I don't know. What's that saying about rats jumping off a sinking ship? Right. Some of the I forget who the article I read about it. Basically talking about the voter numbers where there are some positives out there, but basically talking about having Harris. Basically it was like, the ultimate game plan for the Democrats in 2024, because right now it's not really trending great for them, right? Basically was asking Harris, she's not polling well, nothing. So that having Harris step down, appointing Newsom, and then basically stepping aside. because they said the one thing about Newsom, and I thought the guy was nuts personally, but I don't know. Supposedly he can bring votes out. He won by a substantial margin, and I guess what they were saying was basically they said that it could be a showdown between him and DeSantis because the two of them are able to bring votes, where Biden is not bringing votes, and nor is Harris. That neither of those two is fostering the level of, I guess, voter participation or whatever it is. I don't know, but that's what they were saying. And they said it also depends on who the Republican candidate is. They said, at this point, I guess everybody's waiting for Trump to. They said Trump's going to hold on as long as he can for fundraising purposes and all this other stuff. But they said even in polls, Trump can't beat, I guess, DeSantis. And again, I don't know how. I was assuming it was going to be Hogan. I'd be interested to see the Hogan versus DeSantis thing. And that's basically Hogan becoming a Democrat is what that looks like. Just FYI. Yeah, I think it's interesting. Harris versus Haley will be fun, but GOP is going to DeSantis. Yeah, like I said, I don't be surprised, Jeff, with if it's. I think it's going to come down to the question is, again, I think if Trump removes himself, I think the GOP takes the election, and I think again, Hogan. I don't like the dude personally. But I think Hogan is going to get you, again, he was a Republican governor in a Democratic state that literally is like 96% votes Democrat, right? And it's like a stronghold. Like the fact that he won in the first place was unreal and people liked him. Even the Democrats voted for him here, right? So he's a guy that if they played it correctly, right, he was very polarizing, not polarizing, but he was very public. DeSantis is considered somewhat like a renegade. If you had, I don't know that those two guys would get along, but if you could combine their two powers together, the DeSantis/Hogan ticket, I think it'd be very hard to beat, right? Particularly versus Biden and again, I don't know who would take which one, right? I'm assuming, I don't know. I don't even know who would take the lead on that one. Honestly, voting purposes, I don't know. I think Hogan would be considered less fanatical than DeSantis. I just don't know if those two guys could meet in the middle. Right, but I think that's who it's going to come down to. Yeah, I think that's the eventual vote. Unless, I don't know, somebody was saying DeSantis would wait till the next one, the 28, not the 24. But I'll tell you right now, if Hogan goes in for the 24, Hogan will pull Democrats. So, I don't know. Maybe Hogan goes in and then, I don't know. Who knows? I'm not sure. All right, so this is what we're looking at for dollar CAD. So dollar CAD, I'm very interested about this pair right now. We went just a little bit lower with that news earlier this morning at 8:30. All it did was to drive it down, and all of a sudden it's like, bam, this went higher. And it's like, wait, but that's dollar weakness. It is, and it's not. I don't really want this one to deteriorate anymore. I don't want to say that this is like 100% a news move. It is, but it's also been fueled a little bit by. It's been fueled by oil too. So here's what I like about this one where we're at right now. Okay, we're obviously had a strong move up this morning. You may look at this and be like, wait, was that dollar strong news? Yeah, it kind of was. I mean, it's not as worse as people think, but everybody's like, yep, we're going to go further, right? We're going more. Where we are right now, again, we are sitting high. So after a big spike in price like this, you would expect it to turn and roll back down kind of somewhere in the middle. We also have this over here. And again, we have the retail sales data as well as we have the inflation, right? For CAD, right? On tomorrow morning at 8:30. If we're able to kind of fluctuate back and forth and maintain, and again, use this level up top, I think this could be a decent kind of short trade tomorrow. Now, again, for tomorrow morning, we do have great, forecasted data for the U.S. I mean, this is great data, but what if this only comes in at like 0.7 or 0.8? That's still really technically great, but it's less than expected, right? This CAD data here, again, this is a monstrous move. Even if this comes in, it's like, wait, it really is 0.8? That's a big kind of boom, right? So ideally, again, the U.S. should have more sway over this and be a bit more, throw their weight around. But I feel like of these two things, if the U.S. disappoints here, we've already heard cuts, earnings, everything else. If the U.S. disappoints here, because again, the consumer sentiment was down big. If we disappoint here, and even if this just affirms, that should be a short base trade. And again, the risk level here is not much. I mean, again, 17 pips. The other question is, maybe this is not the level for news. Maybe this old level, this old Harry Potter trade from last week, maybe this is the level up top. That requires another 70 pips worth of movement, which absolutely could happen in the overnight. Maybe this is the trade for news time tomorrow. Okay. And again, this is purely a 8:30 a.m. tomorrow base trade. Right now, could you take a reversal off of this? Sure, absolutely. It's 10 o'clock. I'm sorry, it's 10:30. There is a base there. We have been front run on there before. It did come up. Again, oil is starting to come back a little bit, although we are seeing some dollar strength in here. So right now, I would say there is a potential short in this one, right? Again, and this is playing a reversal of news for this morning. So there could be a trade right now that we're in. And again, we're kind of like close proximity to it. There's your 1 to 3 for this position. 1 to 3 is right there. But for tomorrow, again, if we start to rally higher, this could be the level we go off of, or it could be this 33.89. So I like both levels. I think both levels are decent levels. Where are we going to be this time tomorrow morning? I don't know. It can go a lot of different directions. Right now, though, if you are in a short, you're not in a bad short. I don't think this is horrible at all because, again, it is taking advantage of a news burst / a 1030 reversal. So, not, there. Trust me, there are worse trades out there to be in right now. All right. Yeah. So, I mean, that's how we're playing this one for the news. All right. Dollar Swiss. Okay. Let's see here. We did get the pop on Sunday. Wasn't a very big pop though. It did pop and it stayed right in that level. It did go back up a little bit from where the pop was, but we didn't get the pop that we were looking for. All right, so let's pull this off. I was really hoping we get more pop on that one. We can drag this down. It's not much. We talked about 94 being a level with buyers. So, honestly, right now, I mean, I think this one it's got a little bit of chop to go through, but I think we're coming back up and testing this 95. This 95 level right here, you can see when I box off the bottom where the movement came from, because again, it's higher, lower, lower, boom, it popped. Front run, touch, again, right in that wheelhouse at 95. It's got a little bit more room to run. About 50 pips higher? Right, about 50 pips higher. Eh. That's all I got to say on this one. I think we can move the 50 pips up. I think that makes complete sense. Question is, do we take a reversal off of there? It's not in line with the 23. The 23 is sitting just a little bit higher, but the fact that it literally now, again, it wasn't. Originally, it was here. It was not the 23. Here, not the 23. Now, it's finally the 23. But the fact that that is now the 23 and we have a confirmation off of it, I think that's a level we need to watch out for. I think that's, again, if this is truly the bottom, I think we got a trade sitting right here. Right? I like that one as far as a short goes. 95.46. But this 95 level, I think, is going to be... I like the spot. I do really, really like the spot. That's an interesting one. Yeah. I mean, I gotta say, I like the 95. I really like the 95. I don't know if we're gonna get up there today. I mean, it's about 50 pips higher. Maybe this afternoon. Maybe this is like an after lunch type trade. I mean, it's, we're on an impulse move now. We're getting that pullback again. It's 10:30. We're seeing a reversal in the dollar. Oof. Yeah, I think either of those two could be decent shorts. Again, time will matter. We obviously have news coming in here, the retail sales number. Just like everything else. Like I said, there's so many different positions within close range right now. I think there's a lot out there. Would you say I would love to see Amish run into this for, but he is not going to commit it at this point. Yeah. Angus King. I don't know. Could it be? I don't know. Like I said, the thing with the independents are they, you know, like Bernie had like an example. Bernie has a draw, but I mean, again, it's kind of like, does that mean that they have to stay there? Can they, can they switch? Sure, they don't have to turn. Um, yeah, there's and like I said, if it starts to look like it's going to get switched, if it's going to get flipped to the other side of the GOP, you'll have people want to, you know, you'll have people want to jump ship, right? To jump ship a little bit. Um, hmm. Yeah. I like this one. I want to see what the pullback does. If this one continues to deteriorate, I'm okay with it. If it does continue to deteriorate, I think it's a long from here. If not, I'd like short. I think short from either of these two tomorrow. Could also be, again, we'll see what the Europeans do with it. But right now, if we just kind of tick up today and we hit here at 2 o'clock, I think taking this short off at 95 would be decent. Dollar yen. Dollar yen. Again, we're getting chopped back and forth. Here's the gap. Unfortunately, this one did. Oh, it did get the gap fill. There's your gap fill. So again, there was your short from Friday. Okay, you can see that it was out right there. Right. Here's your basing level from Friday. There is your long, and you can see that it is triggered. And this one took you out right there. Okay, and then all we did was we put a new top in, and you can see early morning, it pushed to the downside, and now we're back up, kind of in the rally. So, let's see. It did go a little bit lower, so let's make sure we drag this down. And right now, we got a little bit of help from the 23 right here. Again, it kind of pushed it deep and then kind of hit it twice again. Let's see how much is this level. Ooh. Ugh. Hmm. Hmm. I like that level, but it's going to have to be a news level. 140.30. Yeah, so 140.30 probably decent short. Right now we're sitting in the middle of the range. Again, I'd like to see if there's truly buyers down here. If this was just literally a profit taking kind of a spike from it, I don't think the market truly knows right now. So, dollar yen. Yeah, we can see where it drives us tomorrow morning, the retail sales number. But and again, if we're sitting high, yeah, I'm okay with that one. This purple one we don't need. As you can see, we have quite a big run up. We get through. We get through 143. Looks like we're going back up to 145. So, yeah, it's all right. I don't really like this one. Bitcoin, little rally back up again. I don't know if you guys have been following the FTX stuff. It's unbelievable. It's like. It's if it was any other thing in the world, the amount of funds that they sent to somebody else and did this and that, it's unbelievable how criminal it is. And they were actually saying yesterday that, yes, there is future in some type of a crypto, but all these little companies with their tokens and everything and the way that they're using the funds and stuff like that, he's like, these are all Ponzi schemes. He's like 99% of all the crypto out there is Ponzi schemes. I was like, wow. Just tell how it is. So Bitcoin obviously up a little bit. We saw some dollar weakness today. Again, we are below the 1300 here as well. And Doji up big, but up 1%, but we're really getting back down to that 7%. I mean, it's just been deteriorating. So not looking great. TLT had a big boom. So TLT, again, dollar weakness, nice little push higher. Again, you can see we have a decent base in here. So right now we are, what I would say is for those of you that are trading TLT, again, I kind of think that this one is a little bit over exaggerated at this point. I've been saying that, but again, everybody's saying that, yep, we're going to keep going. We keep going. We do have a base. We have a touch, and we have some grinding in there. So kind of if TLT gets to the point back where we're able to break through 97 or 96.87, I do think there's a short in TLT coming up rather soon. I don't know when it's going to get here. It is an if this, then that trade, but I feel horrible for the people at FTX. I mean, they're like accounts are locked down. So like, no, we locked them down. We want them to be safe. It's like, well, we just heard about them losing money, using funds, getting leverage. Like, are you actually getting that money back? Like, how is the guy that stepped down, right? The guy that was worth like $200 billion and now he should be in jail. It's, I feel horrible for those people. They're going to lose, and again, you guys know, I mean, like even back to the old company and stuff, like I said, E and J were both, building crypto mining machines, and they were all in for crypto courses and all that stuff. And I was like, yeah, I just don't, just not really my thing. I was never into it. I don't mind looking at it, doing the analysis on it, because again, when Crypto.com bought Nadix, it was like, yeah, there's going to be some products, so we should look at it, right? But again, it's never been my thing. I've never felt the need for it. I always thought that it was kind of a, one of those things. Now, do I wish that I had owned it? Had I bought it, 15 years ago when it was like, $2 a Bitcoin or something like that? Sure. I would have probably sold everything I had with it, though. Like, once it hit, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I felt like the writing was on the wall. Like when it got up to like the 50, 55, I feel like I would have sold it. I would have been done with it right there, right? If I bought it for 200 and sold it for 50,000, I think I'd have just taken the profit and be like, hey, it's going to 100, but I got out at 50K. I'm good with that, right? I'm good. I may have even sold it at 20. Who knows, right? If I bought it for like 200 or something like that for Bitcoin, I may have sold it at 20K. I don't even know. Like, right? At that point, you're in such, greed. It's unbelievable. So that's where they're looking. Let's go to commodities. So oil are getting a bit of a reprieve back on Friday. We ended up tagging this right at 9:30. We talked about that being a 50%, 61.8 retracement level. It did come up, it did turn, and then kind of continue to deteriorate. Now, going into Monday morning, we did see a lot more weakness there, and we have gone just a little bit lower right now. I would say one of the big things about this one is you got to look at this level to 23.6. Right here, we've kind of bounced off of it, but we've had kind of like two little touches here and then just a little bit of a piece. There is a racetrack above that, so if you do know how to set an alert, I would say, hey, listen, the 23.6 is sitting there. We've talked about this 86.50 level before. I think 86.50 is a level to watch out for. If you're able to break that one, and again, this is just a Harry Potter to the top side, right? It's a level that's been there before. It is a 23.6. Right? So if it turns, no harm, no foul. We're waiting for it to break 86.50 and then pull back, and then we already have an established level of risk there. We are in a Harry Potter move. We can absolutely get a 1 to 3 in. What that 1 to 3 would look like would be something along these lines right here. Whoops. Right there. You can see 1 to 3 is sitting right there. So well within range of where it needs to be. I don't know when the break's going to happen. I just know when it does. If it does pull back, again, I think that's a good trade setup, right? I like that one. But you can see it's not moving as much. Even natural gas is going higher. We're really kind of faltering right here as well. Natural gas, a lot of chop back and forth. So natural gas, you can see we had that parabolic move. Yes, we had the gap. It did pull back. We didn't get entry. It came back up. It went exactly where it should have gone to. You should be taking your profit target in this one right there. And what happened? It hit where the buyer or the sellers came in and then kind of retraced back down. It did eventually fill the gap, right? Your gap fill did happen right here in the overnight. Actually, I guess 2 o'clock in the afternoon and then kind of went higher and then pushed lower. Again, I think this one is based off of news at this point. I would say we have really tested this 580-ish range a few different times already. We pushed it here, we pushed it here, we pushed it here. If we push back down again, this was an old level. I don't know that we can hold again. I feel like at that point we're coming down and we're going to 560. So right now for natural gas, again, weather-wise, talking about freezing, snow, that kind of stuff should raise it higher. Russia's shooting capital cities again. It could help, could help move it a little bit. But right now, I think, again, I think this continues to deteriorate a little bit lower. And again, this 580, 570 range that we've used in the past, I don't think it has many legs left. I think it comes all the way back down to the 560 mark. So look for that one. Gold, as you can see, we talked, again, there was what we were talking about. It ended up going lower, and then actually it came up and got really, really close to where I said, but we were talking about it, a nice push down from, here on Friday. So we got it. As you can see, we kind of that same level was also kind of an area that was been used. Let's run some fibs on this one and kind of trace it up. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm going to remove these now just to keep the chart clean. There is a level sitting right here. Right? So two big things to watch out for. One, this purple line, 1800. That's going to be a big psychological level on the top side. But if we do get a pullback, there is a 23.6 in here. So what this is looking like is this, and we're going to look at Wednesday at 8:30. Wednesday at 8:30 right there. I would say on this one, if gold suddenly turns sour, which again, silver, it's not as bad as what it was. But if gold starts to deteriorate back down again as the Fed is making comments about continuing things forward, there is actually a news release right over here, retail sales, that, again, retail sales comes in good. Oh, hold on, guys. I'm going to take Kip back. He's asleep, though. If retail sales comes in and it's not looking real hot, that could be every reason for the United States to kind of be like, maybe we're not going to raise. Maybe we'll start slowing now. That should send gold off. So this is absolutely a potential. The way that we play this one, I would say, is wait for this to kind of deteriorate down. Not interested in shorting it. And again, there's some sellers in here. Not enough room to take it short, but looking at something like this. Right? Off of that move tomorrow morning. Because as I said, that retail sales comes in great. That's rough for the dollar. That thing doesn't come in as good as expected. Comes in as a 0.9, 0.7, 0.8. Those are still all great numbers. But if the market was looking at that as being like, yep, there's your dollar weakness, that's a bullish sign. That is a bullish sign, and I think we test 1,800 tomorrow. Okay? Silver, kind of the same thinking. We went a little bit higher, not too much. You can see 23.6 level. There's plenty of stuff going on down there. It's not a fresh level, though. It's been down here a few times. I'd be cautious with it, if anything else. Get your profit before you get there. If anything, I think the $21 mark is a better area. I don't know that we can get all the way down to 21, maybe if the Europeans take us there. But right now, we've already kind of had the top entry on this one. That, the data point earlier today. So, hold on. Wait, what? All right. I see the message, but I can't find it. Where is that? One sec, guys. Whoops. Making hold on. I can send what I have. Sorry. This person was like waiting for me. They're like blowing on my phone. I was like, busy. I'll be off in a few minutes. So yeah, I think 21 is a better place to go. As far as the overall, Apple, nice little rally back again. Now, just a note, again, Apple's one of those big market movers as well. Apple's coming into an area we've had a little bit of a gap, a test, and a push to the downside. So, again, although we're not necessarily trading individual stocks on this thing, if you are trading something like Apple, 155.51, I got a little bit of room, $3 up. There is a level sitting right there where we've had buyers step in the past and have really kind of spanked this thing to the downside. Tesla, also rallying back, and again, just kind of a simple note on Tesla. We are getting close, and there is kind of a little bit of a level basing on a little bit of a gap right up here, right around 205.76. Again, a little bit more room to run, a couple more bucks to go, but it is a 50% retracement. The 61 is clean. 78.6 does also have an area up here of buyers. So again, even for those Tesla traders out there, there is some room to the top side. But then obviously we have confirmed sellers in the past. Now, let's drop it down to a 15-minute, and whoops. Just kicked my arm. So here's where we are right now. As far as opening print goes, that is sitting right here. Okay. Unfortunately, the 8:30 news today was substantial enough. It shot us up. We had talked last week about this level here at 40.55 or 40. Yeah, 40.55. That's kind of where the news stopped us. I mean, we literally jumped right up to that thing at 8:30 and then pulled back. So as far as opening print at 9:30 goes, we're sitting right here. Right. Are we in a zone? No. Is it set up more for a short? Kind of, but it was a news retracement. So it was kind of like a parabolic move up. And if you were looking to get into something, you kind of were dealing with this. Overall, did we have potential at the opening print? The only potential, if you had anything, would have been taking this trade short. Right now, everything is pretty deeply in the green. So if we do see some profit taking, we could see this one go down. But again, it's green from where the close yesterday is. this is the candle we opened on. We're literally from the open. We're red from the open, right? Or about to go red from the open. We're not at 1% from the open, right? That was all the overnight movement. So, again, 10:30 is when we change, when we reverse. So, could this turn and roll back down? Yeah, it absolutely could. Again, you're already starting to see it. The highs are getting lower, and again, we're getting a little capitulation in here. So, it would look something along these lines. 1, 2, and 3, right there. Okay. Now, horrible. Not bad. It's okay. So I gotta move things around. All right. Same thing with this one. The green one right here. Actually, it's this red one right here. Same thing. We just had a news burst that kind of sent this higher, and now it's retracing back again from it. Here's the zone. This one, again, I like the fact that the wick was higher. I don't like the fact that it kind of went up and it turned here, not necessarily here. So this one's kind of a little bit misleading. The red candle, it did touch, right? It did touch. So it's very similar. One of three is right there. Now, this 1 of 3 I think is a little deep. There is a lot of basing going on here, and this was at like 6 o'clock in the morning time frame. It looks very, very similar. Of the two, I think I like the ES better than the NQ. It's all right. It's all right. I mean, it's already past a 1-to-1, so not really much you can do with it right now. But you could have grabbed it off the print in the beginning. But again, little hiccup, little hiccup. YM. Now, YM's opening print was here, this green. It looks similar. This candle is so ugly. I absolutely hate the candle in this one. Had you taken it, I mean, that's what it would have looked like. So ugly, right? So ugly how it formed. Way too much wick on the top to really be serious about it. Yeah, just not much. Like I said, you're sitting right here, right here. What are you gonna do? You use that zone? No. No. So unfortunately, YM gave us absolutely nothing today. I do think YM, though, I do think this one comes down. I think we're going to have some problems coming in right through this level. Question is, can we grind base through here? But watch this right here. Basically, you have a top there. Kind of a top there. Went a little bit higher than that. But I would say right now that is... let's see. Are we going to get some help? Yeah. If you are short, get your profit here. And again, we can't trade this one because there's not enough room before we hit it. Watch that, though, because, again, easy low to high draws. There's where they're going to use this 23.6 to bounce off of. There's where the profit needs to be taken from. Okay. And let's see what we got, Russell. So, Russell, 9:30 is actually here. So, yeah, kind of the same thing. Like, that's not really a great candle to use for a zone, right? Not really want to box it at all, right? Yeah. There's your 9:30. 9:45 is when I came down and grabbed that zone. Some of you probably got this one. You could have gotten this, right? You had this base ahead of time. News drove it higher, and then on a 5-minute basis, when it didn't come down and it went higher, that cleared this entire path from here up to that level, right? It cleared that entire path once it went up because you can't see any of this. So some of you may have grabbed this one. We were in the middle of the stream, so it was 9:45. So I obviously did not because I was talking to you guys. But yeah. There you go. Yeah, I obviously didn't take that one, but I'm sure some of you guys out there did grab it, so not bad. All right, that's kind of it for today. Like I said, we got a lot going on in the next 24 hours. Let's see, is there any news that came out? U.S. inflation eases. Says we're concerned about the risk the Fed doesn't necessarily see in the non-bank sector, including crypto. Well, yeah. Thank you. The risk in China, yeah. Honestly, I think this is. I think this right here. I think he's hit it on the head. I'm paying close attention to risks in China. Biden's comments were kind of, I don't know. I took them and like when I read them, it was kind of like, really? China's not scared of us. You know? Yeah. If they want Taiwan, they're taking it. So, I don't know. And we get into that, inflation's off the roof. Let's hope that doesn't happen, though. All right, so that's it for today. Let's go ahead and do the drawing. So our California lady right here, she three-peated last week and then got her first. So she's going for a double today, where everybody else is going for just a single. So again, 50 pips is what everybody's going for. Marina is going for 100, right? So we will close this down. And let's see, can the girl go for 5 in a row, right? If it's 5 in a row, I got nothing, right? I don't know what to say then. All right, there it is. Winner of today's drawing is, if anybody was going to spoil it, it's going to be Ernest. I'm just kidding. Ernest has finally got the hacks working again. Congratulations. He did it with 2. So it wasn't like he threw big money at this one. You know? See? Yeah, see, he didn't throw big money at it. Yeah. So let's go ahead and give Ernest his 50. Ernest is like, yeah, she's only going for 100. She doesn't want it that bad. I want the 50. So there we go. All right. So I will catch you guys on tomorrow morning. Like I said, there's a lot of news super early in the morning. If you guys can go to bed early, wake up late, do whatever you do. This year over year for the pound is setting up a lot of big trades in the morning. Again, the CPI data for the CAD, this 0.8 is a big number, right? And then our core retail sales, maybe these are too small. Put it this way, if they're too big, we're going to see some dollar reversing tomorrow. So, and then again tomorrow night, again G20 meetings. We're going to get some more comments out of G20 meetings. And then obviously tomorrow night Aussie. So yeah, a lot of data in the next 24 hours. So definitely. Again, get back tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. We'll be back on. And with that said, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thanks so much for joining today. Take care.